Well, here it is, January 1st, 2026, and I'm going to do the video ramble. Let me pause it and show you where I'm going to walk to, because we had 7 inches of snow last night. So I hope to go all the way down to the creek. I don't know if you can see it all the way down there, and you can't, but we're going to wade through 7 inches of snow all the way down there. And I'm going to ramble, which I usually do on New Year's Day. So this is the January 1st, 2026 video ramble. Okay, so I turned the video around so you could see me, and I'll stitch all this together. Gotta put my glove on. So we just got back from Wellington, and I'll post a video about that. I went down to do a polar dip in Lake Ontario, but the ice and the snow had been driven up so high, it was like 8-foot banks, and I would have had to drop down 8 feet into the water. And I never would have gotten out because I can't climb 8 feet of ice. So that was a bust for this year. So I did do it in 2024. So it looks like probably 2027, New Year's Day. Yay! We'll get to it. It was only -10 when we got to Wellington, anyways. But the winds there were crazy. Like I said, I'll post that video. So here it is. Like I said, we received about 7 inches of snow last night. December 31st, 2025, and so it's going to be a little slow going down here to the creek. Let's talk a little bit about 2026. What did I accomplish that year? Wait, today is 2026. 2025, yeah. What did we have accomplished in 2025? Well, it got through a quarter of a century of the new century anyways. Did some writing, wrote a few short stories. I think The Keys of Hiram Crenshaw was one of them, and The Pocket Pal's Guide to Murder, and I think The Soda Machine, which was a sci-fi robot story that I wrote, was also in there. And then just before Christmas, I wrote a Christmas story, The 2 in 10, a Christmas gift exchange, which I felt turned out really well. The problem was I put on hold a short story called How About You, Delbert Robinson? Or What About You, Dad? What About You, Delbert Robinson? Meant to get back to it. Kind of have an idea where it's going to be finished, but it's been a couple of months and I haven't got to it. If you can hear me breathing hard, it's because of this ramble and slogging through this 7 inches of snow. I'm about halfway there. And yes, it's in my boots. I took on reading all of the short stories of the science fiction author William Morrison. I talked about that. One of my favorite short stories was one called The Sly Bunger Hop. I'm just going to pause this again to show you a downed tree in our yard. I got to flip this around. So there's the downed tree in our yard. I'm going to walk towards it. It was pretty windy a few weeks back, and it fell, so I'm going to have to get down here with some chainsaw and some other saws and cut that up. Spring, summer. There's our well cap right there. It's covered with snow, but luckily, no damage to it. Now I'm going to show you a little bit more down here. We're trying to get there to the creek, and I'll stop and then I'll turn this camera around again. Okay, we're back on again. Let's see if I can put my glove back on so I don't freeze my hand off. If I fall down, my hand's gonna go right in the snow. So yeah, I read all those short stories of William Morrison, 79 short stories. Got a couple of longer novels of his that I've got to read, and then there's some non-science fiction ones I'm going to read, but I thought that was quite the accomplishment to get through those. I think we also went through and watched more than 100 1939 movies from 1939, and I posted some blogs about those. There were some great movies, not so great movies. Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind in there, and Goodbye Mr. Chips, and a few other things. So we're getting close here, but I don't know what kind of goal I'll set for myself in terms of reading this year. Last year I also read three novels by Darrell Brock. One was If I Never Get Back, and it's a baseball themed one from the 1800s that he had it set in. And then I found out he did a sequel called, I think, Two in the Field. And then he wrote another one about Havana Heat, which was about a hearing impaired baseball player back in the turn of the first century, 1900s or whatever. That was pretty. They were three really good books. This year I do have a few books stacked up beside the nightstand. One about a newspaper I'd read years ago by Barbara Villa Cormack, something like that. I forget the name of the book, but I'm going to write it all down in the blog there. And I have a book about the great comic actor Hans Conried I'm looking forward to. So I'm going to stop this again and turn the camera around because we're down at the creek and you can see what's going on there. So there's the creek. It is flowing. It's very cold. I'm going to have to wait until it really opens up to be able to get the Christmas tree, which I always throw down in here in the, middle to late January. Can't see down past there. It does look like it's opened up a little bit more, but it's got to be opened up and fast running. So I'm going to stop this and then turn around and go back up to the house and continue the blog. You can see how far I walked, and my trail is way up there, up through there. That's my neighbor's house, but my house is over behind the trees there. You can't see it, but I got to make my way back up there. Okay, continuing on with the 2026 New Year's Day ramble. Other accomplishments in 2026. Well, health was a problem. I fell out of the bathtub. Well, don't ask about that, but hurt my neck, but I was okay. But it brought on a relapse or into the polymyalgia rheumatica, and so I'm back on the prednisone. Maybe by May or June I'll be off of that again. I hope to have the health continue to be good. I haven't had any other major problems. I think Jeanette's still concerned about me falling out of the bathtub. She used to sleep in the morning, but now she gets up when I get up in case when I go in the bathroom I fall again. I haven't, and I hope not to do that again. I'm walking in my footprints to get back up to the house, almost near that fallen tree again. Politics in 2025 was awful. Donald Trump, don't want to talk about him. He's an idiot. Premier Doug Ford in Ontario, also an idiot. Mark Carney's new prime minister, who would have seen that happening? I thought the Liberals were on their way out at the beginning of the year, and I wasn't looking forward to that other idiot, Pierre Poilievre, getting in. But Mark Carney seems to be doing a decent job. We'll just have to give him some time. He doesn't have a majority, but he's one shy of it after a couple of conservatives walked across the floor. Maybe one more and they'll get a majority. This is a slow going, by the way, slogging back up here and try to talk and do this. So 2026. Let's see, we'll have good health. Continue to see the kids. They were down at Christmas time. Emily and her husband Charlie, Noah and his girlfriend Robin, and of course Abby. Abby's doing super. She's got a job with Intact Insurance. She has her own apartment now and seems to be doing quite well. Always worry about our kids, but we hope to see some more of them in the new year. They're all in Toronto. This year I hope to write some more stories. I'm not at the point, I guess, where I want to take on writing another novel. I seem to have done well with my short stories. I've enjoyed writing them. I'll get back to that Delbert Robinson story and finish it. Last year, Jeanette and I did some renovations on our house. Redid our floor in the living room and our bedroom. Got rid of some old furniture. Got rid of an old desk, an upright piano. Taking that apart was crazy. And I never want to have to do that again. Rest of the year, we'll just take it as it comes. And I think it's going to be a rough few months with snow. And I never would have thought I'd have to get through here. Maybe next year we'll get that polar dip done. It's crazy out in the world, you know, with Russia and Ukraine and Palestine and Israel and other countries warring and fighting. I just hope we get some world peace. Been looking forward to that for a long time. Expand my Funko Pop collection. I got into Funko sodas last year. Have quite a few. Picked up a few more after Christmas, and looking forward to get some more. But generally, you know, I think we need to start being more understanding and more patient and loving of each other. We've got a lot of issues with homelessness and mental health, and I think sometimes my job's tough enough, but you know, people who are living that, it's tough for them. Ooh, I made it back up to the driveway. You can see it. Anyways, I'm gonna walk towards the house. There's my inflatables all kind of stuck in the snow. They're gonna have to be dug out. Yeah, so again, back to 2026. I think, like I said, I just keep on going day by day, week by week, 1 month by month, and we'll get through the year. And, you know, that old phrase, peace and love, peace and love. And in this year, we find peace in the world, peace among ourselves. I can't add much to that except that I'm cold, there's snow in my boots, and my face is frozen. Happy New Year 2026. We'll keep on writing the blogs and hope somebody's reading them. Peace out.